Hello everyone, and welcome to your first Daily Write session. Thank you very much for joining me on this Monday morning or whenever you are catching up with this. These sessions are basically super short, really accessible ways for you to get a bit creative. If this is the only time you've got today to write, then thank you very much for joining me and I really appreciate it. Maybe you've put the whole day aside to write, in which case use this as a little warm-up exercise to get you started. The most important thing to remember is that none of this needs to be good. In fact, I would probably encourage you just to really push it as far as you can. Push your style, embrace the weird, the wonderful and the bad. We quite often use the metaphor of an athlete warming up, and I would extend that analogy to say that when Mo Farah is doing his stretches, nobody is commenting on whether they are any good or not. So we're going to give ourselves that same freedom. So the most important thing is that you don't filter yourself. This is a fail space. It's for you to do whatever you need to do to get your brain in gear. So with that in mind, I'm going to start you off on the first of 3 exercises. What I want you to do for this first one is imagine a time pre-COVID, because I'm going to ask you to imagine a space that is busy and full of people. I want you to pick somewhere that you would find lots of people from different ages and different backgrounds. So you might think of a library, like the word. You might think of a train station or a shopping centre. You can use any of those or you can pick one of your own. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just a quick listing exercise. So we're going to spend 3 minutes on this. And I want you just to write down anyone you can think of that you might see in this space. So a list of characters. And if you can, try and add a bit of detail. So I might say there's an old lady, she's got a green beret on, a fur coat and a tartan shopping trolley. And that is based on someone that I see around Gateshead. So it's fine if you start with someone that you know from real life and then try and extend that into people that you imagine. Equally, sometimes when I do this session, especially on a Monday morning, I might have a bit of brain fog and I'll just write man in a blue t-shirt, woman in a green t-shirt, child in a stripy t-shirt. And that's also absolutely fine. Remember, we're not expecting this to be good. Just keep going and just write through it. So I hope that makes sense. What I'm going to do shortly is turn my video off and I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes. So when you see my lovely face pop back up on the screen, that's when you know your time is up. So your 3 minutes starts now. And that's your 3 minutes up. So stop writing and come to the end of your list. Well done. If nothing else, if you do nothing else this session, you've spent 3 minutes writing. You might only have one character, and that's absolutely fine. You might not have any. You might have just been picturing the scene, and that's all absolutely fine. I realised I jumped into that with not much preamble. I think sometimes writer's block is really hard. We think so much about what we want to write, how we're going to write, that sometimes we just need to do it. It's a short list, and at any time today, this week, next month, you might want to come back to it. You might want to pick a different place. You might want to see if any other characters emerge and turn up. But well done, and thank you for taking part in that. So the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is just have a little look at that list of characters, however many you've got. Like I say, if there's just one, that's absolutely fine. You might have just described yourself in 10 different ways, and that's also fine. But have a little look at that list of characters. And I just want you to pick one of them. And sometimes when I do this exercise, I find that the most sort of interesting characters tend to be a bit further down the list. Once you started to get through a bit of that writer's block, or maybe once you're kind of scraping the barrel and trying to think of other people you might see. So maybe concentrate on someone down the bottom of the list, but it's entirely up to you. You can pick whoever you want. So pick one of those characters. Have you got someone? Brilliant. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is write a little bit about that character and write some facts about them. But we're going to do this in a style of they do, they don't. So if I go back to my lady in the fur coat, I might say they do all their weekly shopping at Waitrose. They don't like queuing. They do like country music. So they do, they don't, and alternate between the two. And again, it doesn't need to be good. Write whatever comes into your head. You might just repeat the same fact if you're feeling like you're really blocked, and that's fine. Sometimes your don't might just be the exact reverse of they do. So that's absolutely fine as well. Basically, anything is fine. That's something I'll keep coming back to. So again, this is going to be a really super short exercise. We're going to give you 3 minutes to do this. So again, I'm going to turn my video off and I'm going to start your timer, and I hope you have fun discovering some things about your character. Your time starts now. And welcome back again, and that's your time up. So well done. We are not even 15 minutes in, and we've already done 2 writing exercises. So give yourself a big pat on the back, big round of applause. I hope you found some interesting things out about your character. You might have just written somebody that you know. You might only have one thing about them, but hopefully they're there, they're starting to take a bit of shape, and maybe they'll sit with you today while you're going about whatever it is you're doing, and you might get to know them a little bit better. So we're flying through. We've done 2 exercises already, which means we have a character of some description, and we've also got a location. So for our very final writing exercise, we're nearly at the end already. I'm going to ask you to do one final thing, which is a free write. So if you haven't done this before, then basically it's just about putting your pen on the page or your fingers on the keyboard, and you just write. Don't worry about what comes out. You might repeat things, misspell things. It might make no sense at all. In fact, you know, again, I would embrace that. It's sometimes even better when it doesn't make any sense. But I'm going to ask you to free write your character in your earlier chosen location. It's up to you whether you want to do this in first person from the character's point of view, or whether you want to write about them and do it in third person. They might notice some of the other people in your character list and they might talk about them. They might interact with them. They might not. And remember, it doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to make sense. If this is the story where a small green alien turns up, or a dog starts talking, or you just repeat, you know, you kind of just talk about what the character does. They go here, they do this. Anything is fine. You are making time to write, and that's what's important. So we're going to free write for 4 minutes. So we will have done 10 minutes writing by the end of this. So 4 minutes, your character in this location from whatever point of view you want, and whatever happens, happens, but just see where it takes you. I'm going to turn my camera off for the last time, and I'm going to time you 4 minutes. Off you go. And welcome back. That's it. That's your 4 minutes free writing time up. So thank you very much for having a go at that. As I said at the beginning, I do realise that we've done these very quickly. The idea was just to give you some super short, really quick writing exercises. One of the things that I always find is that I always say I don't have time to write, I don't know where to fit it in. And that is a really valid excuse, and sometimes it is hard to find time in life. But hopefully with these, it shows you that if you've just got 2 or 3 minutes spare, you can just do a really quick listing exercise, a really quick free write, excuse me, and you can feel like that's just ticked that off your list. You've made a bit of time to write, and that's really, really important. What I would say is if it does feel like it's been too quick and you haven't kind of had a chance to do the things that you want, these are all exercises that you can come back to. You could just carry on when we say goodbye today and keep doing some more writing, or you could try again on a different day and see how it changes. Remember, you don't have to show anybody any of this. You don't have to do anything with it. You can just discard it if that's what you want to do. But hopefully some of the exercises might just plant a seed. It might give you an idea for a poem or a story or a play. It might be that if you're coming to all the sessions this week, that a few of those ideas join up. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it just to have a go at doing some writing, but you never know. So I really hope you've enjoyed the session. If you do want to come along for the rest of the week, it's just the same link, and you just log in at 10 o'clock each morning, and it will follow a very similar form. So you won't have too much of me chatting, but you'll know that at the end of each morning, you've had 10 minutes to do some writing. If you have enjoyed it, please do let me know. If you're on Twitter, you can tag me, and I'm at Ink Producer, so at INK Producer. You can also tag The Word and the Write Festival, who have put this event on. So they are at theword_UK, and the hashtag is Write Festival, WRITE Festival. So I really hope you've enjoyed it. Do let me know how you get on, and hopefully I'll see you all again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day and take care.